Seuls ceux qui croient à la qualification du PSG vont liker cette vidéo. Avant de commencer, abonnez-vous à la chaîne, activez la cloche et dites-moi dans les commentaires d'où vous regardez cette vidéo. Aujourd'hui, on va voir ce que les joueurs de Liverpool ont dit après la défaite 2-0 contre le PSG en quart de finale de la Ligue des Champions. Et attention, parce que beaucoup d'entre eux sont complètement impressionnés et même admiratifs du niveau du PSG. La vidéo est doublée en français. Allez, c'est parti.
So, Mister, again, you come here, we see your team play such great football. We just have heard Jamie Carragher in our studio say that this is the closest I can remember is Pep's Barcelona. And that's, I mean, what do you say to that?
I don't know. It's different teams. We cannot compare, especially when there are those big teams. The way of trying to play, trying to enjoy playing football, I think is nice. I'm happy. We've been working in that way the last 3 years here in Paris, and in that moment, I think today everybody can have fun watching that kind of match.
But how do you feel about the end result? I mean, obviously, the game itself, you played it fantastic. Have you scored enough goals, or are you happy to take the 2-0 to Anfield?
Never. You score never enough goals, especially when you have to come back to Anfield. But I think we deserve that victory. Maybe it's a pity we couldn't score one more goal because we created in the second half 2 and 3 clear chances, but you have to accept that. And now is the moment resting and trying to focus on the next match.
We talk about Anfield and the atmosphere and the crowd there, but the crowd here today, I mean, your home support is unbelievable. Do you think any of your players will be intimidated going to Anfield on is it Wednesday?
No,
Tuesday?
We have a very experienced team, younger, but with a lot of experience. That's why we won the Champions League last year. And I think today it was special. The connection between the team and the supporters was great. One of the best stadium without any doubt. And we know Anfield because we were there last year, and we know that's a special stadium also. But yeah, we are looking forward to playing that match.
There's a lot of likeness from last year. You started in January, all of a sudden you played against all these English teams. Do you have that feeling that this year it's going to happen again?
Last year we tried to making history, winning the first Champions League. We did it. It was great. We couldn't celebrate too much because very fast it was the World Cup, the Club World Cup. But yeah, we try to continue to making history here in Paris, and that means winning the big trophy. And we are going to try.
Anna, how do you reflect on the result today?
No, of course, you don't want to lose, let alone with 2-goal difference. But if you look at the game today, I think we can only be lucky with losing here with only 2-0, because like last season, Paris Saint-Germain was by far the better team today. It generated a lot of chances, and like last season, our goalkeeper was our best player. But I saw what I was hoping for, fighting spirit from my team. They've given everything, trying to prevent them from scoring, but yeah, it's quite complicated against this machine Luis Enrique has created over here.
I wanted to touch on you talking about fighting spirit. After the weekend's game in the FA Cup, there was a suggestion that maybe you didn't see that from your team. So what did you say to them to try and see, I guess, a different approach today?
No, I think we conceded 2 goals against City that had to do with a lack of effort. And if you play against the quality players City has, but Paris Saint-Germain has as well, if you then have a lack of effort, yeah, they can score 4, 5, 6 goals. And as much chances as they had tonight, they were, for the large part of it, even the second goal when they scored and the first goal that they scored, there were at least bodies from us trying to prevent them from scoring. I saw players sprinting back, but it was also quite obvious that the moments when we went to press them high and aggressive, those were the moments they completely ripped us apart. And as a result of that, we had to suffer a lot in a low block.
They had 6 shots on target this evening. Liverpool didn't have any. How do you change that going into next week at Anfield?
Nah, I refer to the game last season where we were completely outplayed over here.
Yeah.
And 1 week later, I think after 5 or 10 minutes we could have already been 2-0 up. So Anfield does make a big difference, and that's also needed because we we need, of course, a completely different performance than we had tonight. And we showed last season that we were able to last season, and that's what we're going to try. Not in a week time, in 7 days time, because we play on Tuesday. But in between, we also have to play Fulham, which is a big and important game for us as well.
Just finally, I wanted to know, how are you doing on a personal level? Because with you being at a club like Liverpool, there's been so much noise, in particular the last few weeks with the results.
Oh yeah, but that's normal if you accept this job. You know there will be good times and there will be bad times.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've always experienced good times as well. But moments like this also are part of being a manager at any club, but also at this moment of time at Liverpool. We've had a very tough 20 minutes at the Etihad. We had 90 tough minutes today. But the good thing is also that we are in these stages of the tournament still in the tournament, which we are still in a week time, or less than a week time. We're still in the tie when we bring the game to Anfield.
Virgil, I know as a professional athlete you never want to lose, let alone speak to us after a loss. But when you consider the number of chances that PSG had to go into that second eye just 2-0 down, do you almost feel a bit fortunate, I guess?
Well, I think the game last year, I think we even conceded more chances, and we needed Ali to have an absolute worldie of a game, probably his best game of his life. And I think the game at Anfield was a different game. Now, obviously, like you said, losing is the worst feeling there is as a football player, and for me as well. Like, I'm coming off the pitch and I'm disappointed. But the matter of fact is that we have another opportunity, another 90+ minutes at home, and we need a special performance there. And we need to show togetherness as a team, with the staff, with the fans, to create hopefully something special.
I'll ask you about the Anfield factor in just a moment, but you touched on that feeling of disappointment. I wondered if you could just maybe share with us what's the feeling like in the dressing room at the moment, because it's been 3 consecutive losses across all competitions either side of the international break, and that defeat at the weekend seemed particularly hard. How are you handling it?
Well, I'm looking after the team. You know, that's for me the main thing. Speaking to players, we obviously have obviously not too many sessions between the games, but you know, between sessions I have certain conversations, and I need to look after the boys, and I need to look after how we are mentally in the best shape. And today I think everyone was ready. Everyone showed the right mentality, and that you lose it today, obviously, that's disappointing. And that's something, in my opinion, Liverpool should not accept, and we should not accept. That's not the standard I'm personally used to, especially over all those years I've been at the club. So that's why it hurts all the time, and especially the weekend one was a very painful one.
Yeah.
But there is still an opportunity, and you know, if we obviously first have a big game on the weekend, by the way.
Of course.
And then we have to be ready, hopefully, for a very special night. And like I said, it's so important to be together. And I'm not only speaking about the team. You know, I'm speaking about as a club, as a unit. You know, I've been.
Do you feel there's been a sense of fragmentation then?
No, I don't even know what that means, by the way. But
just maybe not been together as much.
No, the thing is, like, you know, our season has been so inconsistent, and it's down to multiple factors, and the noise, you know, is there because we are Liverpool. We are the champions we're the Premier League champions. So the noise is absolutely justified. So, you know, as me, for me personally, it's not been an easy season to, you know, to handle everything that comes our way. Like, I'm not speaking about me, because I've never been selfish in that sense. You know, it's always about us, me and the club always will go number one.
Very quickly, you spoke about that leadership role and you speaking to players. Is that on an individual level that you're speaking to them after games?
Both. Individual, as a team, before games. That's absolutely normal. And for me, you know, obviously
But maybe more conversations this season?
Well, last year also, but this year, yeah, maybe a little bit more. But because you're dealing with a lot of players that are dealing with situations and in their own way.
Yeah.
And not everyone is thinking the same. So it's about being there for each other, how hard it is, dealing with all the noise and stuff that comes our way, what is justified, and then show it on the pitch that we deserve to play for Liverpool, because it's an absolute privilege, and that's how you have to feel. You represent not only this badge in Liverpool, but you represent so many fans all over the world that will do everything for us and be there for us as well.
I think the fans will appreciate that human side. And finally, the Anfield factor next week. You've been in worse situations and you've managed to turn it around. What is key to turn around this 2-goal deficit next week?
Quality of first and foremost, but obviously the energy level has to be top notch. Obviously I think our game against Galatasaray was maybe a bit vintage, how we played in our Champions League years, the last couple of years. That's the bare minimum that's needed. But it starts in your head. It starts with the belief. It starts with how much you really want to do it. They come to Anfield. That obviously with confidence. They went to Stamford Bridge and they blew them away as well. And we know that they have the quality to do so, but we have the quality as well to turn this around. But it's going to be a tough one, but nothing will give to you easy. We're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's the absolute highest stage, and if you go through this one, then you step close to glory.
It seems like every time we come for a Champions League match in Paris, we get the highest quality of football. How did you see this today?
I think really good. No, I think the performance of the team, it was 10 of 10. We create a lot of opportunity. We control the game, and we keep doing what we be doing last game and last year also.
Normally when we see you play everywhere on the pitch. Today was a little bit, you're too much on the right fullback position. Was that an instruction from you today to stay a little bit more disciplined?
No,
not disciplined, but more in your own area.
No, I think like always what I say is like I try to adapt myself to the team, and if I see my winger is inside or moving inside, so someone have to be open. So I try to compensate the space that the team do. So if no one is open, I have to be there. But I think also I be a little bit inside. I try to move to create a different space also for me and for my team.
And so you take 2-0 to Anfield next week. Do you think you've done enough? Do you think that's enough for this game?
No, it's not enough. Anfield is a big stadium, big atmosphere. They're gonna push, and I think they will do a different strategy because they are losing, so they're gonna push and they go more forward. So we have to be focused, be concentrated, and finish and the job that we did here, because it's not done yet.
Well, Anfield is, of course, very famous for the atmosphere, but the atmosphere here today was just incredible. Do you as a player, do you get intimidated by going to a place like Anfield? Or is it, just part of it for you?
No, intimate no, because what I say, we have the best support in the world. You already see today, and when they come nights like that in Champions League, they are here to help us also during the year. So we feel the support, and they be behind us all the games, and of course they're gonna be there in Anfield to support us and be behind us also there. So we're gonna try to give everything for them and from the people from Paris.
Congratulations, Visha. One more time, man of the match. If I say only 2 goals for Paris, what do you answer?
I think we had chances to score more. It was many moments that we should score the goal, but it's okay. I think 2-0 is good, but we have to stay focused because we have to play in Anfield. We know that the atmosphere will be amazing, so we are preparing. Already we are starting to prepare the game of Anfield.
You scored a goal to a friend of yours. He knows you perfectly. Was it more difficult for you to score?
Yeah, first half he saved amazing my shoot, but yeah, I mean, we are very good friends. I'm very happy for him and I wish him all the best.
Franchement, quand même, les joueurs de Liverpool reconnaissent la supériorité du PSG, ça veut tout dire. On parle d'un des clubs les plus expérimentés d'Europe, d'une équipe habituée aux grandes soirées de Ligue des Champions, et malgré ça, après le match, on a senti des joueurs touchés, impressionnés, presque résignés face à ce PSG. Et ce n'est pas juste une question de résultat, c'est le ressenti sur le terrain. Le PSG a imposé un rythme, une intensité, une qualité technique qui ont mis Liverpool en difficulté pendant une grande partie du match. Quand des joueurs adverses commencent à reconnaître que l'équipe en face était tout simplement meilleure, c'est là que tu comprends que quelque chose de spécial est en train de se construire. Ce PSG-là n'est pas seulement spectaculaire, il est mature, il est collectif, Et surtout, il donne l'impression de savoir exactement ce qu'il fait dans les grands moments. Et ça, c'est très dangereux pour les autres équipes encore en lice. Maintenant, la question est simple. Est-ce que Liverpool peut vraiment renverser cette situation au retour? Ou est-ce que le PSG est déjà en train de prendre le contrôle total de cette confrontation? Dites-moi tout ça dans les commentaires. Et surtout, écrivez d'où vous regardez cette vidéo. Et si vous avez aimé cette analyse et ces réactions des joueurs, n'oubliez pas de laisser un like, de vous abonner et d'activer la cloche. Merci à tous et à très vite pour la suite.